gonna go ahead and get started. We're making no bake energy bites today. So you don't really need much equipment. As you can see, there's no baking or anything. It's really easy and quick snack to make. It's great for anybody of all ages, kids to adults, for a great snack midday, like that. So before I dive into that, I just want to give a little introduction to Phil Abundance, where I come from. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, Phil Abundance is a large food bank in the Philadelphia region.
So apparently there's an issue with the sound. Can you hear me? Oh, original sound.
Yes, I can hear you, but
can hear me?
yeah, but the presentation is going in and out.
Okay. We'll fix that in a quick second. Thank you for letting us know. I'm gonna stop the recording for a minute.
You heard before I dive into making these no bake energy bites, I'm just going to give a quick intro to Phil Abundance, and then we'll go ahead and get started with the demo. So the mission of Phil Abundance is to drive hunger from our community and to end hunger for good. We want to help our communities receive that they need. Phil Abundance serves 5 counties in Pennsylvania and 4 counties in New Jersey. In PA, we serve Bucks, Chester, Delaware, Montgomery, and Philadelphia counties. And in New Jersey, we service Burlington, Camden, Gloucester, and Salem. We provide food to more than 350 agency partners within those 9 counties. So that's anywhere from your traditional food pantry, emergency kitchen, shelters, hospitals, libraries, schools. We're in a lot of locations where the need for food is the greatest, of course. And since COVID-19, Phil Abundance has reported a 60% increase in the number of people they served as a result of the pandemic. 40% of those are people who are using the charitable food system for the first time. So we know that the pandemic has affected everybody, and this is just another way that our communities are feeling the effects and how we are trying to do our part to help keep everybody happy and healthy. All right. So like I said, today I am making no bake energy bites. It only takes a couple ingredients, as you can see. One of the main ingredients is oats. I got the old fashioned oats. I'll dive more into the nutrition about it, as I am, putting everything together. So we got our oats here. What's great about this recipe in particular is that it calls for both chia seeds and flax seeds. These are both very nutrient rich. And again, I'll go into a little bit more detail about that. To help hold everything together, we have honey as well as peanut butter. And then as some extra mix-ins, we have coconut flakes as well as chocolate chips. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to combine all of my dry ingredients, and then I'll be adding the wet ingredients into this bowl afterwards. So the first step is 1 cup of these oats. Right in there. The next step is 2/3 cup of the coconut flakes. I know that coconut is hit or miss for some people. I am fortunately one of those people who I do enjoy coconut. But if not, I'm sure there are other things in its place. So there's that, and then 1/2 cup of this ground flaxseed. So an interesting fact about flaxseed is that our body, in order to reap the benefits of the flaxseed, it needs to be ground or flaxseed meal. Our body cannot break down whole flaxseed, so we're missing out on all the great benefits that are in this product if we eat it whole. So that's why we're using ground, plus for texture purposes as well. This is a 1/2 cup of flaxseed. Flaxseed is really good. You can add it to a lot of different things. I know people add it to smoothies and smoothie bowls, oatmeal, even baking, anything like that. Now we're going to take a tablespoon of our chia seeds. I'm sure you're familiar with these. They're making a great comeback. Again, people add them to oatmeal and smoothies a lot to get those nutrients, which again, I'll dive into in a little bit. So one more dry ingredient is everyone's favorite chocolate chips. I went with milk chocolate. You can use dark chocolate, you can use white chocolate, you can really use whatever you prefer, whatever your family prefers. So it calls for a half cup. I do a little extra because who doesn't like a little extra chocolate, right? All right. We got all those in our bowl, and now I'm just going to stir this to combine. And then I'm going to add in my wet ingredients, and then it's just going to chill in the fridge for a little bit to firm up, kind of like what we do with cookie dough before we try to roll it into little bite-sized balls. All right, so I got that all mixed up here. So the next is a half cup of peanut butter. So for those of you who may have a nut allergy or a child in school where they don't want you using peanut butter, there's a lot of great alternatives out there, such as Wow butter, which is soy-based, as well as sunflower seed butter. They don't provide as much protein as peanut butter, but if allergies are an issue, then we don't want to make anybody sick. I'm gonna put peanut butter in here. This is what's gonna help, like I said, stick everything together. All right. So a fun trick that you can do, which I'm not able to do right now, is spray this at the measuring cup with a little bit of non-cooking spray before you put it in the measuring cup. It helps it pop out a little easier. Just a note for those who are making it at home. All right. Got my peanut butter in there. And then next is a third cup of honey. Gives it a little bit of sweetness as well. I'm gonna go ahead and do it in this glass one. So a little rule of thumb, if you're using a glass measuring cup and you haven't used one before, is that you want to look at it at eye level. It's best to set it on a table to do so in order to get the most accurate measurements. Perfect. All right. Oh no, my phone. All right. Starting to look good. You can use that same nonstick spray trick with honey as well. It's a way to about easier. All right. And now one last ingredient is a teaspoon of vanilla. I love the smell of vanilla. It reminds me of making chocolate chip cookies, which I guess this is pretty similar. All right. We got that in there. So now I'm just going to combine all this, and I'm going to set it in the fridge for a couple minutes, and then we'll dive more into the nutrition, the fun nutrition facts about these no bake energy bites. We want to put it in the fridge, like I said, to help it firm up, just to make it easier to roll when it's time. It sits in the fridge for about half an hour, or what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop it in the freezer for a couple of minutes to expedite that time. All right, we're getting there. We're starting to get nice and combined here. So these energy bites are common especially for athletes when they're looking for maybe like an after school snack before practice or before a competition. It's a good source of protein and carbs and fat. We want to have all three, they're called macronutrients, all three macronutrients represented in order for the nutrients to be best absorbed by the body. Help keep blood sugar somewhat level. All right. So it kind of looks like this. Now I'm just gonna set it in the freezer for a minute. So now we're gonna go into the fun part, all the fun nutrition about it. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with oatmeal. I'm sure you've seen the commercials. It even says it right here. Oatmeal can help reduce cholesterol. That's because of the fiber content in it. It has 4 grams of fiber total, with 2 of the grams being what we call soluble fiber. So there's 2 types of fiber, insoluble and soluble. So soluble fiber dissolves in water versus insoluble fiber does not. So the soluble fiber, like I said, it dissolves in water to form a gel-like material, and this can help lower blood cholesterol and glucose levels. So when those are floating around freely in our blood, the fiber kind of connects to it and helps it get processed through your body to help lower those levels, like I said. And then the insoluble fiber, this is probably what you're more familiar with. People, if you're having trouble going to the restroom, feeling a little constipated, this can help give bulk to your stool and help make it pass easier. So I'm sure that's what, like I said, most people are familiar with. When they say, I need to eat fiber, they're most likely referring to that insoluble fiber. So other than the fiber, this oatmeal has only 3 grams of fat with 0 cholesterol in it, which also makes it a heart-healthy food. And it's also no grams of added sugar. So it's a great idea for breakfast to make oatmeal, and then you can add in a little bit of sugar versus using those little packets where they have the sugar already added to it. You don't really get to control it as much. Get a little canister of this, and then you can add any toppings that you would like. All right. Now we're gonna move back to the flaxseed. I started talking about this a little earlier in our discussion. So a serving is about a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons. According to this brand, a serving is 2 tablespoons, and it provides 4.5 grams of fat, which I'm sure some people, that might make them a little shocked, but it's a good source of omega-3 fatty acids, which is needed for heart health. It's also a good source of thiamine, which is needed for metabolism and for normal cell function as well. There's 2 grams of fiber in this as well. There might be a little more. No, about 3 grams of fiber, 3 grams of protein. So if you combine this with the protein that's in the peanut butter, and it just makes it a rich source of protein as well. And like I said, make sure you get the crushed or ground variety for your body to be able to use those omega-3 fatty acids. All right, now chia seeds. I always think of the chia plant. When I first heard of this, people adding chia seeds to smoothies and salads and things like that. It kind of caught me off guard. I don't want my food turning into flowers. But they are full of nutrients, again, including that omega-3 fatty acids, which is good for your heart health. It also has iron, calcium, and other antioxidants to help keep us healthy. Again, I know I sound like a broken record, but this is also a good source of fiber. So if you notice, a lot of the ingredients that we use here are a good source of fiber to help keep you full as well. So unlike most plant foods, chia seeds contain all 9 essential amino acids, making them a good plant-based source of protein. So there are some plant-based proteins that don't contain all the amino acids, which makes it an incomplete protein. So you want to pair that with something else, but this one doesn't necessarily need to be paired with anything in order to get the most out of it. The chia seeds provide a very powerful punch for small amounts. And then peanut butter. Like I said, everyone's favorite. So when I was looking up some fun facts about peanut butter, because it's such a staple in the American diet, and I stumbled across a statistic that the average American consumes 3 pounds of peanut butter a year, which I found to be very shocking, but it kind of makes sense if you think about all the different ways you can use peanut butter, including sandwiches, as a protein source like we are here, it's just so many different ways you can use it. And then again, you have our alternatives, the sunflower seed butter and wow butter can be used as well. All right. So I'm going to check on our dough and I'll bring it back out and we can start rolling it. But before I do that, I just want to give it a little bit of time to sit. So just to break it all down for you, a serving of these is about 2 to 3 balls, and they're about the size of a ping pong ball. You'll see it when I start to roll them out. So one ball, one energy ball contains about 3 grams of fiber total, about 6.5 grams of fat, and about 120 calories, 3 to 4 grams of protein. We're getting all of these nutrients at a good level to help keep our blood sugar level, help with our hunger cues, if we're getting ready to exercise or be active in any way, our body needs carbs and protein. So we need all these ingredients to work together in order to get the most out of it. So I'm going to grab this out of the freezer. Again, the recipe says to sit in the fridge for half an hour, but or you can expedite it by using the freezer. Oh yeah, this is looking good. So now's the fun part. So if you have kids or anybody who likes to help in the kitchen, nothing better than getting your hands dirty. So like I said, I'm trying to make it about the size of a ping pong ball or a golf ball. Just roll it up. See how it sticks together nicely. That. And then I'm just going to line them up on my cookie sheet, and then I'm going to put them back in the fridge to finish, forming, hardening up, and they can last in the fridge for 3 to 5 days. So it's a good meal prep idea as well. You can make these ahead of time and then package them up in a serving, 2 to 3 little bites serving, and then put them in the lunchbox or throw them in your bag for work. Good afternoon snack. I'm trying to make them all about the same size, the same way you would cookie dough. So there's lots of different ways you can make these energy bites using different ingredients aside from the peanut butter alternatives. If you're not a chocolate chip person or a chocolate person, you can do craisins or raisins. I've seen some recipes where people put in chopped up nuts, such as almonds or peanuts, to get a little extra protein in there. Instead of the coconut, sub that out maybe for a little bit of graham cracker cut up. That would add a little bit of sweetness and crunch to it as well. I know I said this in my last class, but I wish these cameras had the smell vision. You guys can smell this as well. You can really smell the peanut butter and the honey. I know this is making me hungry. And so since this is, you don't really need many cooking utensils. There's no heat, anything like that. You have somebody who's just learning how to cook, or a young child too. This is a great opportunity for them. Nice and messy. I need to stick this back in for a little bit. That's okay. All right. So as you can see, I'm starting to get a good amount here. This recipe says it will make anywhere from 20 to 25 energy bites, depending on the size that you make them. Right now, I have 9, so I can see myself getting about 20 bites. So that's a good amount of servings. All right, I'm just gonna rinse my hands real quick. Then I'll pop this back in the fridge for a couple minutes, and then we'll take it out and see how they turn out. Right, so a lot of these ingredients I already had on hand, thankfully. I usually keep oatmeal as a staple in my pantry, as well as peanut butter and honey and vanilla. Also chocolate chips, no shame there. I have a big sweet tooth. So the only things that I really had to go out and purchase were the coconut and flaxseed and the chia seeds. But most of this can be purchased for pretty cheap at your local grocery store, or even some of these ingredients you can find at your local food pantry if you are participating in the charitable food system. I know they often carry peanut butter and oatmeal, and I have seen honey more. So you'll be able to get some of these ingredients as well when you visit the pantry if you do so. I would say for all these ingredients, you would probably, these are a little more pricey. I bought them in a bigger size. They do sell them in smaller sizes though. But other than that, I would say this is $10 or less to me, which is I feel fits into most budgets. And if you're making it last for a whole week, that's a very small price per serving versus going out and buying, maybe one of those protein bars or another energy bar that has lots of hidden added sugar in it. Versus this, we know where all of our ingredients, all the sugar and everything is coming from, which we need. Sugar is not a bad thing. Our brain runs on carbohydrates, on these simple sugars. So we want to make sure we are including them in our diet. A little fun fact for you, 45 to 65% of your daily intake of calories should be coming from carbs. So it's not just rice or pasta. This also includes fresh fruit. They do contain carbs. There's a misconception that there's too much sugar in fruit. However, it's natural sugar. And so it hasn't been added in. And there's also lots of other benefits to eating that, such as fiber and other vitamins and minerals. All right, so I'm just going to pull that out of the fridge. All right, they are looking good. They still need a little bit of time to firm up. Usually, when you make these, break it in half, it's still a little chewy. So take a little bite. Cheers. If you are a peanut butter fan, they're definitely for you. They're not too sweet. I can taste the honey and I can taste the sweetness from the coconut and the chocolate, but it's not overpowering. I feel I'd be able to have 2 of these as a snack without feeling, weighed down, feeling heavy. And I know that I'll have sustained energy moving on in the next few hours. All right. So does anybody have any questions or comments or anything for me about the recipe or anything that I mentioned nutrition-wise? Got a couple minutes left. So as we get close to summer, we're going to have the kids back at home, looking for things for them to do. This is a great way to help them learn those cooking skills while also making a fun, sweet treat